So I'll start. So, like I said, since this is the first time that CSE 1100 has been offered and that this is new material, and by the way, I've never taught Python before. We used to teach Visual Basic instead of Python. I've used Python before. And then this class has an emphasis on critical thinking. So we're going to start off the class talking about critical thinking in general. And so that doesn't come from our book. Our book is more focused on problem solving, which is the computer science kind of equivalent to critical thinking, problem solving and algorithms. So we're going to start off with just what is critical thinking, quote unquote, and that's in general, and talk about some of the skills that we need in order to think critically. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't think critically enough of the time, and the reason is because it takes energy to think critically. And we're all so super lazy that we'd rather just shove our heads in a phone. And I include myself. A lot of times I would much rather, you know, be the lemming or the sheep and follow the herd than it is to think about something, because it hurts my brain. No, because it takes energy to do, and we're all super lazy. And I have a sneaking suspicion all of our technology is making us even lazier. But that's just probably because you get really tired from sitting in front of a computer or staring at a phone all the time. Coming from a computer science guy. But doing all this online stuff I've sat in front of a computer longer than I have in years. This is much harder for us as professors. I don't know how hard it is for you guys, but it's a lot harder for us because there's a lot more prep work. So anyway, just keep in mind that the class is going to be, or have some flux and some flex in it, just because I don't know how long it's going to take me to cover material. Having said that, it's probably a really good semester to take this class, because I'm going to be very flexible and probably fairly lenient as to what you need to turn in, what the projects are going to be, etc., etc. Now, I may change some things. We may have we may have more projects than are listed here. We may have more stuff to do, because I was originally thinking that I was going to give you kind of a big computer program that you have to do for each chapter. But over the past week or so, I've been thinking that maybe we're going to split it up and have smaller programs that you do, but you just do more of them. So it'll probably translate into less work for you if we have more, I know it sounds weird, more assignments. But again, that's something that I'm thinking of doing, and I still haven't kind of nailed down. So the syllabus is very, how do I put this? It's more like chewing gum than paper. It's very flexible. So anyway, we're going to be online, both for labs and lecture. Now, oddly enough, we have, it used to be that I taught lecture twice a week, and you guys would have lab once a week. But there are 3 lab sections instead of 2, so it's all a little bit funky. So you need to be here for lecture, 9 to 9:50 a.m. And then we on Tuesday and Thursday. We have our labs Tuesday and Thursday, but you only need to come to your lab section. So it's either 10:30 to 11:20, 1 to 1:50, 2:30 to 3:20. So it's one of those 3. that you come to. Now, because we're not in a classroom setting, okay? Because in our actual lab in Jack Brown Hall, room 360, where my labs typically are, there are only 30 computers. So the labs are capped at 30 because you can't, if you don't have a computer, going to lab is ridiculous. But here, you can cross over if you want, because lab is your computer and I'm just there to give you the assignment, to walk you through stuff, to help you if you have questions. So while we are online, you may go to any lab that you wish, okay? Or you can go to multiple labs if you wish. Just make sure that the first time we go to lab, because I don't think I'm going to have labs today, that you go to the lab that you're scheduled to, because I'm going to take roll again, because I want to make sure that if people are in the lab that they're supposed to be in. On the web page, by the way, on Blackboard, oops. On Blackboard in your courses, you have section 1, which is the lecture section for this class, and you will have your other section, the lab section, and that's on Blackboard. I'm correct, right? You do have two sections for this class.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything with the lab sections. Okay, so I'm not going to add unique content. I'm not going to add any content to the labs. And the reason for that is because I have 3 lab sections. So if I added content, I'd have to add the same thing to each one, because all the labs are going to be the same. So I'm just going to do any updates and anything that you need to know in the lecture section, because everybody's enrolled for that. Anything that you need will be here. By the way, all course content is here. And there isn't a whole lot of course content, but there will be more. I will just keep adding at the bottom, or maybe after the start here thing somewhere. No, it'll probably be at the bottom. So when we have assignments and things, I'll try to post those instead of just telling you what they are. So let me go back to the syllabus. Where was I? I'm being distracted because I have a dog crying somewhere. I am the instructor. My email address is here. Oh, I will have office hours. Virtual, everything's virtual. I have an office, I just haven't seen it in months. My office hours will be Tuesday, 11:20 to 12:20. And if you look here in the lab sections, it'll be after this lab. So what's a little bit strange is that I was going to try to just extend that lab out, but then I decided to create its own office hours. So you're going to have to let me kind of log off and close the Zoom meeting for the lab, and then restart my office hour kind of Zoom meeting. So just keep that in mind. It'll probably be closer to like 11:25 instead of 11:20 or 11:30. And just the reason is probably because I may have questions, but we'll see. By the way, you can always ask me questions if you need something, because you know where I am from 9 to 9:50 and during these hours. Feel free just to pop in, and you can type something if I'm in the middle of lecturing or if I'm just putzing around. Now, let me say the other thing that I need to say about office hours is that I will not sit in my office hours for the whole time. So I'll get on my office hours, and if within 10 or 15 minutes I got nobody, then I will shut it down and go outside and have a cigarette and more coffee until 1 o'clock, because I do have a break, and probably eat some lunch. So if you need to come to office hours, come early. If you need to have or talk to me when I don't have office hours and when we're not actually in class time, you want to talk about something private, we can set up a private Zoom meeting. That's super simple. But you need to let me know. So how are you going to get in touch with me? Well, you know where I am Tuesdays and Thursdays from certain times. And you can always email me. Although I'll tell you in secret that on the weekends, I don't check my email all that great. So weekends emails probably get ignored until Monday morning. But I try. It's just there's so much stuff. It's really overwhelming. So having said that, the text. Okay, so I have more secrets. So this is the text right here. It's called Introduction to Computer Science Using Python, a computational problem-solving focus. And all the information is here. And their course objectives, well, okay. So let's talk about the text. Oh, I'm in Word, that's why. Where was that? Oh, it's here. So I snuck this in here. This little bit right here. Oops. I'll try to log in a little early next time too. I couldn't log in. I was logged in because I teach at Chafee also, and I was logged into Zoom with my Chafee account, and so it wouldn't let me start the meeting because it's in the Cal State account. And then when I tried to change who I was by using the other username and password that I have, it wouldn't let me change. And so I was trying for about 5-6 minutes to try to change that, and I was like, oh crap, it's the first time that I'm going to have a problem. So without much fanfare here, I'm just going to do this. So watch. Not what I want. I'm going to try to do it. It's just that I'm not that good. Oh no, I was going to the right. Oh no, it's here. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Another thing, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. I can't tell you to do this, which is why I'm not saying anything. Da, 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 da. What does that say right there? I'm not sure. It's this button right there. Oh. So, I don't know where my tabs went. I don't know what's going on here. Why can't I close that? I want to close this window. What What happened to the top of my web browser? Okay, so hopefully you all just saw what I did. So, Merry Christmas. Now, so like I said, I put this here, and we don't need the book for a while. Okay, so let me talk about the book for a couple minutes. We don't need the book for a while. And the reason for that is that we're not actually gonna start looking at, you know, this is book stuff, starting on the 15th. Before that, and we probably, well, we'll need the book. Before today is this, this week actually is just an introduction to the class. And maybe next lecture, I'll start actually lecturing about, on Thursday, I'll start actually lecturing about critical thinking. And we're going to have a critical thinking assignment. And I'm just it's going to be a written thing. So you can just email that to me. And I will give you that probably that week. So the 8th, so in a couple weeks. By the way, the schedule, like I said, is going to fluctuate, and what exactly our assignments are is going to fluctuate a little bit. But this should give us a good kind of skeletal outline of what we'll be doing when. So make sure that you reference the syllabus more often than you would in a traditional class. Now, I know a lot of you are freshmen and it's fall, but some of you, I have a lot of juniors and seniors, weirdly enough. So some of you remember when we used to actually go to class, and we would go over the syllabus the first day, and then nobody ever looked at it ever again. And that's because your professors, and including me, would tell you what it is that we were going to do the next class or the next week. I tend not to do that because I tend to be a little bit rushed. So being in Zoom meetings instead of an actual classroom is a little bit strange. And me only lecturing for 50 minutes is also a little bit strange. It was always an hour and a half. But anyway, so having said that this is a little bit, is going to fluctuate a little bit, what does that mean practically? It means that you need to make sure that you come to class. And I say, hey, you know what? We're going to do this instead of that. I'm not going to post everything and write everything down that's changed. So you need to make sure that you're here. I know it's hard to get in your car and drive to the Zoom meeting. But make sure that you're here and you pay attention. I will post every lecture on Blackboard so that you can go over it again if you need to. So we're going to talk about setting up Python. I'm looking at only doing the first 5 chapters of the book and spending more time. It's very strange because the book doesn't spend a lot of time doing stuff. They go super fast through everything. And so I'm looking at going through chapter 5. We may go through chapter 6. Again, depending on how fast I can get through stuff, how well you're understanding the material, and just kind of how the class goes. So the course evaluation may be off a little bit. Now, we won't have any tests. And ooh, I left out the, see, I already screwed it up. I left out the critical thinking assignment. So it's already a bit screwy. So the amount of total points that you can get in this class is going to fluctuate a bit. Now, we won't have any tests. We will have a final project though. So you're going to do a little bit bigger program. And if you see here where it says lab assignment, or it should actually say lab what we're doing in lab. It says introduction to final project. We'll be doing that around there. And so basically you're going to create a project that kind of builds on all of the things that we've learned up to up to probably chapter 4 and 5. We're going to, yeah. So I will give it to you and you can work on it. And then it'll be due the last day of, it'll actually be due the day of finals. So our final is Tuesday, December 8th. And you'll just have to turn it in to me by then. You'll be able to turn it in early. And by the way, I haven't actually nailed down what the actual final project is going to be yet. I have a couple of candidates, but I haven't figured out which one I like best. So, you know, you can't ask me questions about what are these things going to be. And like I said, instead of doing one project for chapter 1, we may do 2 or, you know, so it's a little bit strange. But in the end effect, your grade, I grade on a straight 10% scale. So it's a standard college grading scale. So I'm going to figure out how many points were possible in the class. And then I'm going to take how many points that you have and divide, you know, how many points you have by how many were possible and come up with some percentage. And so if you get 87%, that, oops, don't move that around, that translates into a B+. There are course objectives, recommendations, and rules, and there's a thing about students with disabilities on the syllabus. So there you go. You can read all of that on your own. Does anybody have any questions?
On our end, on the student end, we can, there's a button to record the session, but when we click on it, it says that the instructor must change the setting on his machine. Can you enable that for future sessions?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record it. So I've recorded this one, and I should probably stop recording because this is the question and answers. And then I'm going to post the video onto the Blackboard page. Okay, so here, I'll show you what I did last time. You can see, let me go to here. Let me go to spring, and I'll just show you what I did for the last 125 class. So you can see the layout's very similar. But down at the bottom here, it says lecture and lab recordings. And so if you missed a lecture, yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. You would just then click on it, and it would play. Right? This is the actual lecture. Okay, yeah, oops, it's playing. So, yeah, stop. I'm talking. It's not stopped. Oh, crap. Okay, so let me go. Yeah, stop it. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to record these things. And actually, like I said, I'm going to stop recording right now.